Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna be having a little chit chat. I am giving you guys my top 10 college advice and tips. So this video is specifically for anyone in college out there or who have recently graduated. I'm literally begging you guys to watch this, especially if you are currently in school right now. Basically, I'm gonna be sharing my tips with you that I learned from college and things that I wish I did differently, and ultimately some advice that may set you up for success when you graduate college. If you are a loyal subscriber, you know that I am still in my post-grad era. I graduated December of 2023 and it is now February of 2025, and I really just want to give you guys the best tips that I've learned from my college experience, and again, things that I wish I did differently. So I want to pass down all of my tips and knowledge to you guys, and I've been waiting to make this video for so long, so I'm very excited to be talking with you guys today. So I made a list of my top 10 tips in my little notes app, and I'm gonna be basically just sharing this all with you guys. And before I start, I do want to say this is all from my experience. Obviously, everyone has their own experience when they're in college and their own different paths, especially whatever major you were in. Since I was a mass communication major, this is mainly tailored to those of you in this major, but also can really help anyone in college right now. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my tips with you guys. So grab a seat, grab a snack. I have my coffee right here. I really hope I can help you guys who are in school right now, truly, because post-grad life is not what I expected it to be. So starting with tip number 1, I wish I could scream this from the top of my lungs. Do not graduate without an internship. This aligns differently with everyone just because I know for some majors you technically don't even need an internship. For example, if you're a nurse, I don't believe you need an internship because you're doing clinicals. But let's say if you're in marketing, communications, psychology, literally anything, make sure you have an internship. So during school, I applied to so many internships and I didn't get one. I also didn't know that I wanted to be a mass comm major until my junior year, so I kind of focused on the coursework and just like kind of rushing a bit to make sure I graduated a little bit on time, because again, if you guys have been following me for a while, you probably know that I was in nursing school and basically thought I was going to do nursing for more than half of my college journey, and then I switched my major my junior year to mass comm. For my experience at Towson University, they didn't require to have an internship, where other majors were required to have an internship, and I feel like things would be so different if we were actually required to get an internship, because in my opinion, with this job market, a degree is not enough. I've applied to, I can't even tell you how many jobs I applied to, and all of them have denied me due to not having enough experience, and that is my biggest regret. I did apply to so many internships, and it is a lot harder than you would think, because I also was getting denied from internships. I was doing internship interviews and then I would get ghosted, even though they would tell me that I'm like moving up to the next level. So I feel like it's really important to get an internship, and I would say to start looking at least your sophomore year. I didn't start looking until my second semester of my junior year or my senior year, just because I was on a whole different academic pathway, and switching to mass comm from nursing was really hard for me. Coursework was different and I just didn't know how important it was to have an internship. I applied to so many and I didn't get any, but I just thought since I was gonna get my degree anyways that it didn't really matter that much. So if you think like that, I'm telling you right now, please don't graduate without an internship, because I promise you, most likely your experience post-grad will be so much better. Entry-level jobs are really asking for 3 to 5 years of experience, which is impossible to me because it's entry-level. It's really frustrating, especially if you're post-grad, you know this, that if you don't have any internship experience, it's gonna be hard to get a job, even if it is entry-level, because jobs are really looking for some sort of experience, even if you already have your degree. So if any of you guys are a senior in college, please, please, please apply to internships, even if it's like post-grad, the summer after you graduate. A lot of internships are open to recent grads, so just really try and get an internship, not only for your resume, but also just for the experience, so you can gain experience and gain knowledge for whatever entry-level position you want to get. And you never really know who you meet at internships. You can create so many different connections, and also it opens the door for maybe possibly getting hired after your internship into a full-time position. So So you never know, and I know it is easier said than done of getting an internship, but really just apply to as many as you can and try to get one. I would say at least to get 1 or 2 before you graduate, but again, it is easier said than done. Tip number 2 is to make connections and to network. I never knew how important it was to make connections and network while you're in school. While you're in college, it's probably the easiest time to do that just because you're around so many different professionals already. And if you think about it, college is just such a big networking opportunity. And again, that's something I didn't really take advantage of when I was in school, just because I feel like I'm very introverted when it comes to being around new people. But honestly, you have to just get out of that mindset and be very extroverted, be confident, and especially introduce yourself to anyone that you might think could be a good connection or is also doing something similar that you want to do in the future. And at my university, we had career fairs, and I did go to a couple of them. Just from my experience, I didn't really get anything out of it, but I feel like it is important so I constantly have to tell myself that I have to network and introduce yourself to people, introduce myself to people, and really a lot of jobs these days people get from connections. Most of the time, I feel like they do choose people who are connected, so it's always better to just be on the safer side and have connections. And I also want to make a point to connect with your professors as well. You'll never know in the future if you need like a letter of recommendation. You can also have other connections, so always have a good relationship with your professors. Try to stand out. Ass kissers are really annoying in class, but at the end of the day, I feel like they'll always remember the ass kisser versus someone that's very quiet and doesn't participate. So part of that is also making sure you're participating and doing well in your grades and just being a good student overall. Tip number 3 is to use LinkedIn. This kind of falls in with connecting and networking. When I was in school, I didn't really pay too much attention to LinkedIn until my last semester, and it really is good to just build up connections on there and to connect with a lot of different people. There's a lot of job opportunities on LinkedIn. For my school, they really emphasize on having LinkedIn, which I liked because without them, I feel like I probably wouldn't know what LinkedIn is or have even made an account. So when you make your LinkedIn, try to make it as professional as possible. Have a very professional headshot. So if you don't already have a LinkedIn account, you really need to make one, and then also just start posting any academic accomplishments, or you could also make creative work and post it on there, and it might bring traction to your page or attract employers. So really be active on there. Try to connect with as many people as you can. Employers also do check through your LinkedIn page, and if they see that you're not really active or don't really have anything on there, there's a chance that they might choose a different candidate who has like an updated LinkedIn and has so many achievements on there. You could also look up tips online just to make sure your account is more successful. Tip number 4 is to join any club and to be very active on campus. When I was in school, I did join a couple clubs. Again, there's so many networking opportunities when you join clubs. I would say if you join a club, maybe start out just like being a member of the club, and then as you stay on that club, really try to get on the executive board because you can use that experience on your resume, and you really want to build a resume during school. It's seriously so important. And even if there's any volunteer opportunities, I would say to join that as well. So just really try to be involved around campus out of class. A lot of schools have so many different clubs, and you should really look into joining them, and you could also meet so many different people and make friends that way. Adding on to this tip, this isn't really like academic related, but one of my regrets from college is actually not joining a sorority. I only say this because I transferred to Towson University from a 2-year college, from a community college, and let me tell you guys, it was so hard to make new friends. You would be surprised how many people are still friends from like their freshman year. Literally everyone that I met had friend groups formed already from their freshman year because they were all there from their freshman year and staying for all 4 years. I never joined a sorority, one because of the money, because it can be really expensive, but also second because the stigma behind it. I know when you hear the word sorority girl, I'm so sorry if any of you guys are a sorority girl out there. I'm not trying to offend you guys, I promise, but you know, when you hear sorority girl, you think of a certain image, which I know isn't everyone who's in a sorority, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But there's actually so many different sororities out there that has so many girls from different backgrounds and ethnicities. At least from Towson, later on saw so many different types of girls who were in sororities, and I thought to myself, like, I would actually fit into certain sororities there, but I never ended up joining, and I honestly kind of regret it because I think I would have had such a good experience in a sorority, meeting different friends. And people do make jokes that like you're paying for friendship, but honestly, whenever I see sorority girls, they look so happy and that they're having so much fun. And friendship is a huge part of college, and the social aspect is a huge part of college. I know I've watched story times on TikTok where I've seen like so many crazy negative experiences, but if you want want to be in a sorority and like are willing to actually go for it and try it out, I would say to go for it, especially if you're transferring from a 2-year college, because you end up meeting so many people. And it kind of sucked like some days like not having a group of girlfriends to like go out and get lunch or something. I did have friends on campus for my classes, but like we didn't really hang out outside of class, just like the occasional campus stuff. But I feel like being in a sorority would have been really fun, actually. Even if it is a bad experience, at least you have those story times to tell people. It also puts certain events and volunteer experience from being in a sorority onto your resume, so there kind of is a plus for resume experience from being in a sorority. The next tip I have is to get jobs on campus. If you need to work during school, I really recommend working on campus. You can network, you can meet people, you can have that done on your resume that your college hired you to work there. And then also I feel like it's a good work and school life balance. At least at Towson University, they always emphasize that they want schoolwork to come first and they won't try to control your work schedule or make it super out of hand. They obviously know that you're a student there. So I feel like working on campus is always pretty good, and sometimes they even pay good too. So look into your college and see what kind of jobs that they offer students. Next tip I have is to save literally everything from school. Save all of your projects, save your classwork presentations, save your notes. Make sure you have everything downloaded before you graduate. Just make sure you can look back at those notes post-grad when you need to like refresh your memory and refresh your knowledge from everything you learned. And then you can also submit any of your previous projects to jobs. Some job applications have options for you to include your writing samples or any projects that you've done. Make sure you really keep those and download them, and then also you can make them into a portfolio. I've seen so many people talk about how creative portfolios have helped them land an actual job. So just make sure you save everything, especially like group projects. I know for my advertising capstones, we had really big projects and I saved all of those. And also make sure to have everything saved, just because some professors do make everything inaccessible after you graduate. I don't know if that's like a rule, but some professors do that. So it's better safe than sorry just to have everything downloaded already. I think I'm on to tip number 7, which is to make sure you use all resources that you have in school that are offered for free. I know I had so many different opportunities for like free courses and free certifications. So really make sure to take advantage of everything that you can that's free on campus. For example, certifications can be pretty expensive if you do it out of university, but sometimes universities do have benefits for like free certification courses or like free memberships and stuff like that if you're already a student. Definitely one campus resource that I want to talk about is the Career Center. I don't know if this is like a standard for every college, but Towson University had a Career Center that had so many amazing resources that help students. They had resume building workshops, they had mock interviews, they had so many other things that I can't really remember right now. I remember when I was trying to figure out my major and like switching everything, Career Center was such a big help. I went a couple times to get my resume looked at, and they also had like little career events and like speakers and stuff like that. Take advantage of things like that, because when you're post-grad, you're not going to be able to get your resume looked at for free. So just really pay attention to on-campus resources and career centers if they have it, because a lot of people also didn't take advantage of it the way I did, and I found it so helpful. Tip number 8 is to start job searching your senior year of college. I feel like this really also needs to be emphasized because I didn't start looking at jobs until my last semester of my senior year. But honestly, you can even start looking like your second semester of junior year. Really make sure you're applying to jobs even before you graduate, just because you can list down when you are going to graduate, and it could be a really good way to set up having a job after you just graduated. Really look into the type of companies that you want to work for, and definitely connect with them on LinkedIn. You can search up the company that you're interested in, and then they also have like the employees that are listed there, and you can message them. Make sure you're really appreciative to anyone that can give you advice. Also to make a good impression, because again, you're networking and making connections, and you never know if they know something is open on their end and can even recommend you. Do your research of where you want to work at and start applying at least your first semester of senior year. Tip number 9 is not really academic related, but choose carefully where you live at school. I lived in an apartment for 2 years, technically lived off campus, and honestly, they really take advantage and prey on college students, which is ridiculous, but don't let them scare you or fool you into signing a lease early, because the first first year that I was living in the 4-bedroom apartment, they were really pressing on renewing your leases, and it was the first time like we've all renewed anything or even signed a lease. So we fell into the trap and renewed literally only a couple months into living with each other, and you just don't know what it's going to be like long term to live with people that you don't even know, really don't know like what their lifestyle is like, if they're really clean or not, the type of people they bring into the apartment. And I just want to warn you guys, I learned through my experience that apartment complexes do take advantage of you because they just want your money, they just want you to stay there. Don't rush into signing leases because I promise you most of the time they're just trying to trick you into signing that lease that you can't get out of. I feel like I've talked so much. I'm starting to get a very dry throat. Literally my coffee is all melted. So my last and final tip is a bit corny, but it is to enjoy every moment in college and to not rush your experience. Guys, I can't even tell you how much I miss college, and I wish I was still in college. Like, I'm one of those super seniors that like would want to stay there forever. Like, you know in Pitch Perfect when that one girl, the redhead, is like in school to stay in the a cappella group? That's literally me. Like, I wish I could have done that. During my 2 years at Towson, I was a bit negative on certain aspects just because of like my living situation and not having as many friends as I thought I would make at school. And looking back, I wish I wasn't so negative. I would say my last semester of college is when I truly embraced like being a college student and being positive and loving everything. From my experience, when you leave college, it is a whole different world that you don't even expect. Like, looking back in college, I'm so grateful for the experience I had and the luxury of being able to live off campus. And I know college is different for everyone and you may enjoy post-grad versus being in college, but for me, I feel like I just wasted so much time on being negative and focusing on negative things. And I would always be like, I can't wait to graduate, I can't wait to be finished with school, and people would tell me like, don't rush it, and I would literally ignore that and be like, why would I not want to finish? And now look at me, wishing I was back in school. Even when you go to grad school, I feel like it's different because you're already in like an adult mindset. But when you're in school, I feel like it's just such a different experience and you feel so different. And I'm so glad that I was able to capture all of my college vlogs on YouTube, because sometimes I do watch them back and wish that I was still in school again. I had so many good memories and it's just so nostalgic. Like, even making this video right now talking about Towson and school, it just feels so nostalgic to me, and I really wish I was back in that time frame, but unfortunately I'm not. And I'm very jealous of all of you college students that are watching this video. I want to be every single one of you, but I do know that college is definitely harder, like financially and socially, for a lot of other people. So I'm wishing my best of luck to you guys, because I know college is different for everyone and not everyone experiences good years in college. Just really enjoy everything, take it in, go out, party, have fun, but do it safely. Meet new people, don't take certain things too seriously. I took so many things seriously that I look back on and I'm just like, why? And really just embrace being a college student. So that is all the tips that I have for you guys. Talking about this with you made me so happy. I hope my advice helped some of you guys, and I hope you guys really think about some of the things that I said, because I really try to pick out the most helpful tips from my experience. If there's anything else that you guys want to know, you can always leave a comment down below and I will answer. Or if you guys like want a part 2 and have different questions that you want me to answer, you can also comment that down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really happy that I was able to share my advice and tips with you guys. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck and I'm really rooting for you guys. And if you're post-grad like me, sending my love to you guys, especially because I know the boat that we're in is very tough. At this point, post-grad has been harder for me than actual college. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.